You're listening to the Heroes Powerhour presented by BlizzPro.com. Your hosts, Balrog fan Zexorus and DJ Tyrant. Hello everyone, welcome to the Heroes Power. This is episode 116 of the Heroes of the Storm podcast, brought to you by BlizzPro.com. I am your host, DJ Tyrant, and with me we have the full crew with us, and we're going to start with physical art. We haven't seen you in a little bit. How have you been? How have your games been?
I'm good. I'm actually playing again for the first time in forever. I did 11 placements in the last 48 hours, so I can get last season and this season. I have been playing quite a bit of Zagara and Jaina lately. That's been fun. Outside of that, I haven't tried Destiny yet. Still debating if I want to go that route.
Well, you missed the open beta for PC, unfortunately, but
yeah.
You have a month and a half to decide. Well, I guess you don't have to necessarily get it the first day, but it was really fun when I played it. But it's been pretty cool. Zexorus, how about you? How have you been? Did you want to talk a little bit about your project that we've kind of all been a part of?
Yeah, sure. I had a dream way back before Heroes. Back when Heroes was still Blizzard Dota, when that was a thing, when Dota 2 was still fresh in its infancy. I kind of accidentally fell into Beyond the Summit. I've mentioned it before in the past. I'm their lead mod. I'm that guy you yell at in Twitch chat because you think you got banned. If you're asking to get unbanned, I'm the guy that says yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But, I always wanted to try my hand at casting, but never really got around to it. The nerves, stuff like that. And I finally just bit the bullet about a month ago and said, you know what, I'm getting older. Heroes is still a fresh game. If I'm going to do it, I need to do this now. And so I started up Nexus Commentaries, which is a casting team for amateur Heroes of the Storm, hopefully branching out into bigger and better things at some point. But we have seen, in my opinion, we've seen some decent growth in the past month. I think we're up to about 155 or so followers, give or take, which is about 100 more than I thought we were going to get. And recently we did just hit, just today, we just got Twitch affiliate status. So we'll have a sub button and an emote and all that, and it'll be pretty
Nice.
sweet. But yeah, it's been some grinds at times with how late some of these games go.
Yeah,
but
you're not the only one complaining about HEC Open going late. I know a lot of the players get frustrated with it a little bit because it can go till sometimes 10 or later Pacific time, which is obviously like 1 or 2 your time.
Yeah, well, yeah, and like the last 2 weeks, I've stayed up till almost 2:30 in the morning just so I can get a cast in with you and 2 in with Charlie. Though last week Carl was the man and stepped in last minute to fill in for Jimmy to cast the Gold Mishas, and Carl's a little
I just
harsh.
got into bed and I checked my phone and I was like, oh no.
Carl's, and that kind of, I think that kind of showed in your cast. You were kind of harsh on that other team. It's like, I think that team fight was a mistake. And Jesus, Carl, tone it down, make it sound nicer.
Oh my goodness.
Like, that may have not been the best decision for that particular moment for team whatever, ADEZ or what, I forgot who we were casting. I know it was the Golden Mage.
So he's like an Abathur caster? illogical decisions.
Yeah, Carl putting on the Avatar hat
There we go.
for casting. But yeah,
I mean, if your team makes a really dumb move and you're trying to be, you're trying to be semi-competitive about this, I'm going to call you out on your dumb move.
right.
That's a good way to cast.
It's been a lot of fun, and I'm really delighted that I actually started this up. But yeah, check us out on twitch.tv/Nexus Commentaries. I am starting a Patreon for that. I haven't finalized it yet. I've got some goals laid down. I know one of the goals will be we're going to set aside a day to cast viewer replays.
There we go.
So that should be a lot of fun. But yeah, check it out. Twitch.tv, Nexus Commentaries. I kind of messed up on the Twitter, though. I should have just made it Nexus Com Hots, but it's
You
Nexus
can change the
Coms.
name.
Oh, can I?
Yeah,
I'll
Yeah.
probably
in your
do that
settings,
later
so you can
then.
go do that.
Yeah,
I changed my handle.
And you'll save all your
when I
followers.
got onto the show
I
so
can't
that it
really
would line up with my
because-
game tag.
I have overlays that have Nexus Comms.
Okay,
Hots.
well, don't change that until you've
Yeah.
changed the overlays.
I really don't want to bother the artist. Like, hey, can you take out the S? Because that seems such like a nitpicky move on my part. Like, well after the fact that she made them. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Charlie is definitely coming into his own as a caster. It's been a lot of fun watching him find his voice as an on point guy. Calling team fights and stuff like that. It's been a lot of he's really improved. Check out some of his casts on the archives. It's really good stuff.
That's awesome.
It's a lot harder than I ever gave it credit for, just watching from afar, that's for sure. It's certainly easy to sit in a Twitch chat and say, haha, caster's bad. But man, it is tough to stay away from being nonsensical and rambly while also calling action that feels frantic and all over the map, because we're not casting for, Tempo Storm versus Gale Force, like where all the action is kind of centered around one place and happens all kind of like in a fluid motion. Like this is, Chair League or HTC Open, Gul'dan dies on the top of the map at the same time Zagara died on the bottom, both on other teams. Like, how do you call this? Like,
Yeah.
So adapting to that and learning how to do a lot of that stuff has been very unique and challenging and fun.
Yeah.
And it's got me playing more heroes lately too as well. I've been playing a lot more heroes on Wednesdays and Thursdays as well as the Tuesday shows. So
Yeah.
it's been nice to get a solid 2 or 3 days of heroes in and feel like I'm kind of staying fresh in the
Yeah.
meta.
We are going to see how observing EU games are going to turn out next week with the EU Open, HGC Open. PFlameG and myself will try to get some games in on that. I have this sinking fear that it's going to look like trying to cast a Dota to SEA game from NA.
Well, so
And
here's the thing.
it's really
HGC is cast from California. And it's an online tourney.
Yeah, well, but that's closer than, BFE Indiana. I'm just saying.
No, he's saying it doesn't vary between NA and EU, right?
I'm also saying I am probably West Coast servers, or East Coast servers. So when I try to connect to this game, I have to go much, much farther than like California to whatever EU games they cast.
No,
And
you're
Russ-
closer,
no.
buddy.
He probably has longer distance between him and like the nearest EU
Node,
or
maybe.
US based
Yeah.
server.
I would like to put a stop to this conversation.
PFlameG! PFlameG, how's your week been in gaming?
Thank you.
Gaming.
Thank you.
So I finished the season in Plat again, in lower Plat than usual. So I'm gonna, when I can, I definitely want to devote time to grad school and everything. But when I can, grind some more Hero League this season. But I've been playing some during the day with Aya and Sind. some friends of the show, which has been good. I played some today, before, like in the middle of the day and then right before the show. So I've got 2 or 3 games of Jaina in and 2 or 3 games of Kel'Thuzad in, and I really enjoyed playing both of them. I think we'll talk about that more when we get to that portion, but it's been fun. I think I'm going to play a lot of both of them.
Yeah, for sure. Did you get sucked back into WoW like me?
Yeah, I've played a lot of 7.
Yeah, no, 7.3 has been fun. Balrog fan, how are you, my friend? I know you. I see you furiously typing there, but how's your week been in games?
I pretty much covered it with the casting and
Okay.
playing on Mondays or playing on Wednesdays and Thursdays as well.
Okay.
Just working on my support play as always.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's dig into the meat of this week. We had a patch go live today. We talked a little bit about the PTR changes, what we thought it would do to these heroes that are getting these reworks, but we got to play a little bit today, and we kind of have some real first impressions, because you can only get so much knowledge from the PTR. Once you get on live, you kind of get a real feel for how the heroes are going to be. So we're going to start off with the Lich himself, Kel'Thuzad. I played a game on live. Carl played a couple of games as well, but what
You're not
Carl
gonna do the full intro?
No, no, we did that last time. But Carl, I want to start with you because you're a much better range DPS than I am. What do you think of his kit, and how has he played for you so far?
So he's really interesting. He's very dependent on understanding your combos. So his trait, right, is you get 1 blight every time a hero is rooted by Frost Nova or hit by Chains of Kel'Thuzad. After getting 15 blight, the cooldown of basic ability is reduced by 2 seconds, which is really, really impactful for your just sustained teamfight DPS, and also for stacking your quest. And then after getting 30 blight, gain 75% spell power. And we talked about how this is kind of like he scales worse than other heroes, so it puts him about 30% over the normal scaling, and without the quest, he's about 30% lower. But regardless, it's a really important thing to hit your quest. I played 3 games tonight. I think the latest I got it was like level 12, and I got it like level 4 one game. It was just a constant.
That was gross.
That game. I got it really fast, and it was disgusting once I got it. It's definitely a huge power spike that you need to play around. Especially, we're in this next week will be a lot of mirror Kel'Thuzad matches. If he has his quest done and you don't, like, that's a 75% damage difference between you two.
Yeah, that's a huge deal.
enormous.
I found that
We
the
should
one
do a
game.
little PS.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say we should do a little PSA here. Don't give Kel'Thuzad free chains early. Like, there's no reason to get close to him and give him free chains if he
Yeah, and
catches,
the thing is,
he catches you.
the thing is that's a pretty short range skill shot too, so you should be able to play around it relatively well. I did find on that game that we had on Black Hearts, it took me way too long to finish the quest. I don't know if that was partially because of the comp or just how the battleground works, but yeah, I was missing a lot of the chains quite a bit, and that was an interesting game though. But yeah, landing the W is going to be key in building up your blight, and I'm really excited to see in a couple weeks when HEC gets a hold of him and see what they do with him, because we obviously saw with Garrosh kind of the first impressions were, he's okay, but he's not super great. But now we're seeing him just be a dominant force in HEC and be an absolute nightmare to deal with.
Yeah.
But overall, I really like Kel'Thuzad so far. He's definitely very high skill cap. Do you think him telegraphing so many of his skill shots is going to be kind of his downfall a bit, or?
So the way I play him right now is not great. It works in quick match, and it works when you're trying to learn the hero and understand them. But I play pretty forward, trying to fish for chains and landing all this stuff to get my blight stacks, do a bunch of damage. And I think that's probably not how you want to play him. Having your mage in front of the rest of your team is generally not good. But I think he's going to be really strong as far as like counter engage. You know, if you got, you know, a Varian running at you and you just chain him to your pillar and then root him and then hit him with your ult and you just blow him up from the safety being in the middle of your team, right? Because his stuff is kind of short range and kind of telegraph, but if they're running at you, they can't do much about it. So,
yeah,
I
definitely.
think he's going to be really strong in HGC.
For the rest of you guys, I'm curious what you guys think playing against Kel'Thuzad. I mean, has it been tough? Has it been what has it been for you guys?
We only played that one, so I didn't really see it at all. So he wasn't very good. Like, I didn't see him very much, so I don't have much to say about it because I wasn't able to play the PTR at all. So
I like in that game we played tonight. I did like how he ended up pairing with Diablo. I thought that was surprisingly easy synergy, if I'm honest. Like, I think there could be even more synergy with that level 4 talent where he drops that icicle down on the ground.
That's something I really need to learn how to use well.
Yeah,
I don't use it near enough.
I think with proper positioning, like since that counts as a structure, like Diablo can get bonus damage off that. So with the right positioning and everything like that, like Diablo could get even more effectiveness. Same with Ariel. Anybody who would benefit from terrain bonuses would just get, but the skill cap on that would be like incredibly high.
Speaking,
why go for that when you can just pick a Tassadar and boom, there you go. There's your terrain. But he has enough root between the chains and the Frost Nova that you can. It's a free APOC. Like they can't get out of that.
what do you think his ban rate is going to be?
Not
the first like 2 weeks, say.
in Hero League, relatively high, I think.
Yeah. I think people ban new heroes a lot in general.
What about HGC when he goes live there?
Not nearly as high. I think he'll be second round ban, or late pick.
Yeah. So back to the terrain stuff you're talking about. Carl, I have this question for you. What do you think of the spike at level 7? Taking that instead of some of the other talents where you get to place a spike and kind of have that to play with.
They were talking about how important that was, and Carl needed to practice it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's especially if you're, facing somebody alone. It's just like, oh hey, I can actually use my E now. Or if even if it's a team fight and like there's the variant in your face and there's nobody with him. Building that up. I think, I don't know that the Chilling Touch really is going to get a lot of value. And I don't think people sit in Death and Decay that often.
At the end of the day, the Icicle's an escape tool, right? Like, it gives him escape.
Yeah,
it's both.
Yeah. Because if, like you said, that situation where Variant's chasing you and you need some distance, chain... or icicle, chain him to it, take off. I think that'll primarily be how it's used personally, because when I was trying to get in and stun him, he did something like that to me and got away, and I was like, oh, that was kind of tricksy.
Who are his big counters to start?
First?
Probably
was
the same counters as Li Ming and Chromie have, probably. Right? He's an entirely skill shot delayed telegraphed hero. Right? If Illidan just dives him, there's almost nothing he like. If he does manage to get the chains off and he can blow up Illidan, that's gonna be really sick. Illidan's a lot of mobility, or like and a tracer too, right? So if he just misses that chain, after that's gone, that's it.
It's tough, yeah. But continuing on the mages, I wanted to move on to Jaina and talk to Physical Art and P Flame G again with the ranged assassins. And what do you guys think of this updated kit from her and what she's bringing to the table now and how she feels now versus how she did before the changes.
I only got to play the one game with her, but I did take I took ice flows at 7. I really liked that. The wide cone of cold. It helps to do the whole new baseline ice block. You have to build up to it. It helps a lot with that. I did not try the ice fury wand. I don't know if that's a better option, but the wide cone of cold shared with all of our other chilled talents, it seemed like a lot more burst for her because you can hit more targets with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the cooldown reduction is nice as well.
Yeah, I mean, her ults are still the same. I see no reason to take water elemental. Maybe other people do, but I think the whole targeting with Ring of Frost is just so much power in team fights. It's like a smaller version of like Kale's ult. I think Carl played a lot more games than I did, so I only got the one, but I think she feels more viable, and I got her ice block at 16. I have to see, now that I know the proper way to get it, I have to see how fast I can get it, like what level I can build it up to, so that's the important one for me.
Mm-hmm.
When I was messing around on PTR, I think I had mine by like level 8 or something like that, but that's just messing around on like AI games and just seeing how fast I could potentially do it. But
that's still a huge improvement from 20. Like
yeah, ice block at sub level 10 is ridiculous. I think the earliest heroes gets it 13 if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
13
I think that's
sound.
probably around when you'll get it most games. It's 13 to 16.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just, there's constant team fights and you're just wailing on them all the time, then you can get it at level 8.
Yeah, I think it depends on the map. I think maps like Dragon Shore, you might be able to get it more with the mid lane.
Well, it's not only just like team fights. Like if you're split pushing, like those crits count on buildings. It counts towards the damage.
No, it doesn't.
I thought it was only heroes.
Deal 15,000 damage to chilled enemy heroes.
Yeah, it's heroes only.
That had to have gotten changed then.
Maybe it did. Maybe it was different.
I mean, it makes sense though because since she's not a specialist, she shouldn't be building those charges on any kind of siege damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
do we think this is a net positive change for her, or kind of eh?
No, I think it's. I mean, this is amazing. She got Ice Blink at 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She has a teleport again. I mean, it made Jaina back into what she should be, and that new reward on Fingers of Frost baselined one of her other talents you usually had to take.
Yeah. I mean,
it basically baseline Frostbite.
If
you gather 20 globes.
Yeah. I mean, if this is what we're getting for them taking away Bolt of the Storm, I am all for it. For them to be reworking them, making them unique for each hero, and making them more dynamic in that way.
Yeah, I feel like if you time it right, the Ice Blink with the wider cone of cold and, all of her chilled with the Ring of Frost and having your ice block, like that makes her almost like able to dive as opposed to being dived on when you hit 20.
Yeah, no, she's a flanking hero again.
Yeah.
Which is the identity she had when she was really strong.
Carl had made a good point about Ice Blink being utilized with Water Elemental. A couple weeks ago when the PTR notes first came out.
Yeah, I remember this.
But they removed the additions to the water.
Oh, okay. Ice Blink is a short distance. It's not Bolt. So you can't just completely bypass their whole team.
Is it more like a Li Ming teleport?
Yeah, it's kind of like you get a Li Ming teleport and you chill them. It's still really strong for, if there's a team fight going on, you just need to blink past the ETC and hit their ball or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's mostly what it's for. It's once you're already engaged to pop past whatever tank is blocking your way.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like any kind of disengage option.
Well, I mean, it always will because you can use it over walls, but
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta have good positioning. Um, would Cold Snap ever be worth taking? I mean, it's already like mildly a decent enhancement, but now also reducing 10, because if it hits all 5, isn't that bring it down to a 10-second cooldown?
Yes.
Ring of Frost is 60-second cooldown, right?
Yeah, but how often are you gonna hit 5 people in the center?
I don't know. Have you played Quick Match before?
It doesn't say you have to.
I
It doesn't say you have to hit them in the center though. It just says
I
now
have to
don't
be
know
hit.
if
per
that's
enemy hit.
worth it beyond the other two, because the ice flink and the deep chill as options, like the deep chill new functionality with the stacking the slow up to 40%, I feel like that would be worth it way more than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting
so
that double
on average,
slow.
you'll hit 2 or 3 in your ring, which is like a 20 to 30-second reduction, which sounds really nice, but if you're not going to cast it twice in a team fight, then the cooldown reduction doesn't matter.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
that's more than fair.
I feel like that could be one of those where if you're behind, that might be worth taking to try and, get that extra burst to catch up in team fights and be more dangerous. But overall, I think the other two are worth more.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of always take your 20 based on the situation you're in. The only time I could ever, now that you guys are talking about it out loud, is if you were constantly using Ring of Frost as a disengage. I don't know why you'd be doing that at 20, but it would be appealing to, have it back sooner so you can try to re-engage an objective and disengage out when the fighting happens or something like that. But yeah, no, the Ice Blink and Deep Chill, I'd have to see Deep Chill in action, but 40 does feel like a lot.
40 is a
Yeah,
pretty strong slow.
That
if
can help you
continue
secure
to
a kill,
activate
especially that late in the game. I feel like it's worth it. But
I think the blink will be the go-to because of the outplayability you get with even a shorter blink as it is.
Yeah.
Whether it's like I need to blink this Kel'Thuzad chain or we lose the game, and you have that option. So I think that especially in pro play, that's going to be the go-to. The others are still good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the other two.
Yep. So it's gonna be just based on the situation, mostly. Like Balrog Fan said, your storm talents are generally situational on what you want to pick. But I wanted to go ahead and move on to Lieutenant Morales, who got a pretty significant rework. Balrog Fan, I knew you played a bit of her earlier. I find it interesting that they continue the trend of removing cleanse, and I feel like we talked about this on the PTR portion of this. But what do you think of her kit now that she has energy instead of mana? And yeah, how does she feel? Because you had some thoughts playing today.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an adjustment period going on for me right now with her. So like everything I'm saying is just kind of an initial response to having to play her so differently. I don't know how she's going to stack out. To me, just like playing her a bit, I feel like she doesn't work if your team's focus for damage is sustained, because she runs out of energy during these fights, and there's no real way to mitigate that. You have to switch your healing beam around, and you can't just stop healing the tank because you want to, manage your energy for, 15 seconds later into the fight if it means the tank's going to die. So you have to keep that healing beam going, and once you run out of energy, your team has to disengage. If they stay, they're not going to have a healer because you're basically offline for a good 10 seconds. And it doesn't feel great. She has a lot of things that are very cool that have been added to her kit. Level 7, she can take something that just straight up removes a slow when she casts Safeguard. And when you remove a slow with it, you get a 4-second reduction on the cooldown. It's kind of some cool counterplay to Jaina and Kel'Thuzad, who are going to be very, in the meta right now. So that's kind of interesting. I don't think long term it's going to be able to take over some of the new talent she was also given at that level, which is either when someone's stunned. during Safeguard, the duration no longer decays, and they get 25 armor. So it's kind of like a little weird cleanse in a way. I mean,
it's
it does
kind of like Uther's Guardian of Ancient Kings.
right. Yeah, it just kind of gives the 25 armor.
Well, it gives 50 because it's 25 additional, and Safeguard already gives 25.
Right, yeah. And then I don't know. I was taking the increased duration on Safeguard initially with Prolonged Safeguard, but I really not 100% sure which way is the correct way to go at that level. Obviously, the slow removal is kind of, a response to the other team, but yeah, she's got a lot of extra talents too at 13 with her new grenade functionality. Obviously, grenade no longer has cost mana and everything like that, so they changed up some of the talents. The one I really like is System Shock, where heroes hit by displacement grenade have their damage reduced by 30% for 4 seconds. I can't talk. It's kind of something she didn't have in her kit before. It's a very safe damage reduction kind of thing. Mitigation. It's going to help her a lot in those. And how much she'll need to heal, which is always, important for the support. So those were the big changes there. I didn't really mess around with well, we never got to 20 in any of the games I played with her, I don't think.
Did you try the EMP grenade at 13?
No, I was generally using the System Shock because we didn't run into really any shielders outside of Varian. And
Okay.
Is that the same? Can I do that
No.
to Varian during yeah, because that's considered a
Invulnerability.
parry and vulnerability thing.
Yeah.
or-
Parry
Yeah,
and
so
variant.
for those not looking at the talents,
Yeah.
a 13 EMP grenade deals like up to 400 bonus damage to enemies with shields. I think it's just nice to add another kind of anti-shield mechanic into the game. They don't need to be everywhere, but having more than just Varian is nice.
Yeah, definitely. And it's her grenade is a really safe option for a support. Usually, your skill shots don't feel very safe as a support sometimes because you have to position yourself in a way that's dangerous to even get value. A lot of the times with grenade, it floats. It has a large burst radius. You can use it safely. So definitely giving her that feels right, especially with the StarCraft tie-in and everything. I would like a chance to use the EMP grenade. It seems fun.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I'm really interested to see her kit now, and I really would like to get to a game at level 20 with her and try out some of these medevac talents.
Oh, you guys, you lied to me.
What?
You guys lied to me. So we were talking about the grenade that gives Morales a shield. And it was to be fair, I was wrong on what level it came in at. Comes at a 4. Comes at blast shield. Okay. So hitting a hero with a displacement grenade grants Lieutenant Morales 2 energy and a shield equal to 8% of her maximum health, stacking up to 5 times. Okay, this is the combo I really like. Blast shield, and then at 16, or what was
Blast
it?
shields.
13. 13 at 13. Second opinion. So if displacement grenade hits 2 or more heroes, its cooldown is reduced to 1 second, which comes in really, really handy for some clump team fights at times, where you can just displace people, keep your health up via the shield. You hit 2 people, that's 16% of your health right there. And you got a grenade on a 1 second cooldown. So you're just chucking bombs at people. It dissuades any continued pursuit.
So are you saying you have a reason to support now?
No, I'm not going to play Morales. But when I was messing around on the PTR, the AI is an idiot, obviously, and they would just 5-man down a lane, and I would just be constantly pelting them with grenades on the way back to a fort or something.
Huh.
So, I think that's going to be the go-to combo right there. Of course, I'm not a support, and I'm probably 100% wrong on this, but having that 1 second grenade, the grenade does a surprising amount of damage, doesn't it, Jimmy?
Yes, I remember that well.
So, and having getting a shield for hitting at least one person with that grenade is incredibly valuable. Plus, on top of that, it can split team fights up pretty darn well if you utilize it properly. That variant's not going to get in if he gets smacked in the face with angry medic balls every time he tries to take a step forward.
Yeah,
it's just not going to happen. So you really want to say something, Carl? You just look like you're really...
Yeah. So I'm not a support main. I'm actually... Support's my worst role. Charlie and Jimmy may laugh at me. I can see an argument for Blast Shield at 4 to get the energy regen, to get the shield. The other options are nice, but like kind of long cooldown, and getting the Blast Shield for energy regen might be what you need at 4. At 13, I feel like the other two options are too good. I mean, maybe that's the point, right? Is you have really good options at 13. You have to make a hard choice.
Isn't this the argument we've made before? Is like, oh, sometimes Blizzard just doesn't make good enough options that it's a go-to talent. Now, oh no, we have to pick between all these great talents.
Yeah, no, you're completely right on this. If you're not constantly getting dove down by other heroes, then yeah, the other two are fantastic. But the ability to have a shield out almost on demand at level 13, I feel like is sometimes you got to do it.
That's fair.
So,
those two talents definitely synergize really well.
Yes. But if you suck and you can't hit your grenades, then they suck. Then.
All right. Well, I think we.
Wait, no, hold on.
Wait.
Charlie has one thing to say.
Yes, go for it.
Oh, no, I don't think the 13 talent is viable. I really believe that if you're going to take 14, if you're going to take Blast Shield, you have to take the quest clear at level 1 to get the most out of it. And I don't know how important life support or Caduceus feedback is for energy management, because all of that sounds fine in theory, Willie, like what you're trying to do, but you forget you still have to go off and heal people, right? Like if your focus is to constantly just put a shield on yourself, a good team's just gonna ignore you and then pick off your assassin, Like they're not gonna like let this happen. It's gonna be fun to troll, sure, having 1-second grenades, but like at level 13 when you have the option to do something like System Shock, which is just a flat out damage reduction, which is very rare in this game and kind of a big deal when you're able to do it, and it's almost always single target. In the case of things like Shrink Ray, you can reduce 30% damage from 5 heroes, potentially. That's amazing. Like, you can't... Yeah, no. You could, like, for what, constantly throwing the things out would do, I think, like, what you're looking to do would make more sense if you just take clear, bring the cooldown down to 8 seconds, hit some good ones here and there to help you for survivability, but not focus your game plan around it.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's the nice thing about level 13 is there's, like, Carl agreed with my argument, but then he also admitted he's a bad support player. You completely disagree with me, and you're a much better support player than he is. So my opinion.
Well, no. Me and Carl are both in agreement that Blast Shield is a very good talent that should be considered.
I agree. Like in my opinion, all level 13 talents are really good.
Oh, no. Well, no, we're mixing them up. I'm talking about the level 4 talent. We're all in agreement that the level 4 talent's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and as I said, like later on, like second opinion, I really like it. System Shock, incredible. EMP grenade, also incredible. So like every 13 is like her best talent tier, in my opinion. There's something for every situation on 13.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's very hard to figure out what to pick with her right now, for sure.
Yeah, it'll give her that kind of utility spike that she needs, and I think we'll just get used to the energy management going forward. I remember when Morales first came out, I think both you and I struggled or me mostly, struggled pretty hard with keeping our mana up, just because the beam just completely drains it so fast, and it's just something you learn, and maybe it's a side effect of us not having played Morales as much lately, but I'm interested to see how it is going forward. But go ahead.
One thing I haven't got to test yet either is her level 16. She has an option to take something called First Responder now, where if you have more than 70 energy, your healing beam heals for 25% more. So I'm curious if there's a good way to manage that so you can constantly tick your beam on and off and get more healing per second mileage that way. I'd need some hard math on how to approach Morales. That's what's very kind of confusing about her, because her talents don't really clearly explain which path she should go, and that's fine. But when you have to manage your healing, it's a bit tricky to figure out which talents are important for your support role and which talents are more, kind of pick and choose. Like, I don't know if First Responder is her whole game plan now. That's because it sounds like it potentially could be. So I guess, like you said, we'll have to wait till these things settle themselves out.
But yeah, first impressions, verdict still out on Medic, I think. So we are going to move on, though, to the little gnome that could. And Zexris, tell us about Chromie. What has she gotten changed? What does she do now? Is she more of an annoying little, you know what?
Let me preface this with, I still hate Chromie.
Shock it, no.
I still hate Chromie.
I'm so surprised.
I think she's a stupid character design. It should have been a different dragon. Any dragon.
Play her.
They could have taken some WoW fanfics dragon, and I would have been, oh, okay, cool. But no, we got Chromie.
You're an absolute mist.
I am racist against gnomes. Anyways, they completely reworked this character. They dropped her Sandblast overall damage by I think 30%. They reduced the scaling. But they turned it into a quest ability. So hit 80 heroes, you get past and future me as your quest reward. So you get that sand clone. Okay. Every time you hit a hero, you get 5 bonus damage on your Sandblast. If you hit 2 consecutive heroes, it's 10 extra damage every time after that, as long as you keep hitting. Once you miss, it goes back to 5. So, you hit 4 heroes in a row, it's 5, 10, 10, 10. And for your quest count, it's 1, 2, 2, 2. So, but the damage doesn't stop stacking. It will. There was a PTR game where I stacked up 1,500 damage on Sandblast.
What's the realistic stack count generally though? 800, 700?
Yeah, 700, 800. You're hitting the 1,000 damage mark once you hit 200 heroes. So,
that's a lot of heroes.
That game I had, the sand clones do not count towards the quest. So, continuing the quest, I should say. But the snipes get absolutely insane after a while, especially if you stack it with quantum overdrive and stuff like that. So, but new talents going in, compounding Aether's gone. They got rid of it. Nobody picked that anyways. Mounting sand. If Chromie hits with a 3rd consecutive sand, it counts as hitting 3 heroes. So that's 3 heroes on your quest counter. That's 15 damage. So you hit a 4th hero, that's another 15 damage. And another 3 heroes. The problem with this talent is, and another one. The problem with this talent is it comes up against.
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
Or alternatively,
congratulations, I played myself.
when you hear that 3rd hero, when you hit that 3rd hero, you can always go, "Oh baby, a triple!"
Welcome to the meme power hour.
So, but the problem with this talent is it's level 1, which puts it directly against Time Walker Pursuit. And the vision that Chromie provides, the mana regen that talent provides, is just absolutely invaluable. You need to have another way to have vision on the field, somehow, some way, if you're gonna play Chromie, and this Chromie's gonna go mounting sand, because it is a valuable talent. I really like this talent, but
You're right, though. I mean, Chromie's vision has almost become an expected part of her kit at this point.
Yeah, because she just pings the map where, oh, I want to look who's by the keep bottom lane.
Probably going to help you keep your consecutive stacks going, anyways, more with the vision rather than I guess you're kind of gambling with that other one.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that. But number 2, level 2, number 2, Timely Surprise. Sandblast and Dragon Breath cooldowns are reset when Time Trap is triggered. Now, this one is a lot harder to utilize than you think, because we've all done it. If we're playing Chromie, someone gets in that Time Trap, and you're like, crap, my abilities are on cooldown. Not anymore. But this goes against Bronze Talons, and Bronze Talons is really good. I want to like this because it's on. If you're able to capitalize on it, you get a lot more damage out of this than Bronze Talons. But normally, when that time trap goes off, you're nowhere near it. You're running away, you're in a different part of the map, and you just haven't placed another time trap. So, if you're really coordinating well with your team and you're playing incredibly aggressive, this could work out really well. Or if you're playing far back and the divers are trying to get onto you, this could actually work out really well. But again, comes up against Bronze Talons. Bronze Talons gets so much more mileage in the long run, because how many traps do actually go off? Now,
well, when Balrog playing,
that's fair. That probably would have been a field day. You would have been dead like 40 times in like.
No. See, to be fair, I don't set them off in team fights. I set them off in random map transitions in places that make absolutely no sense.
You're like, why is this here? Why?
You're like Mr. Bean?
Well, all 5 of us went through that fog of war, and I was the only one who hit a sand trap. We all went through the same vent.
That's impressive.
Yes.
Yeah. Now,
Anyway.
this does combo with the level 18 Endor Hall anomaly. Go my God. I've been saying this fine until this very anomaly. You
and Charlie today with the vocabulary.
So
sounds like you're stuck in a loop.
Endor
Oh,
Hall.
dad jokes. Those are Willie's territory. You broke him.
Right now. It combos with her time trap storm talent, Endor Hall anomaly, because 3 time traps, that's 3 resets. It's not gonna happen the way you want it to happen, no matter how much you want it to happen, unless you like.
It's gonna happen that one time, and you're gonna post it on Reddit.
It's like that 5.
Great.
Yeah, so you're like that 5-man ley line. So you're gonna get that idiot ETC who power slides in. You got them all in the straight line. Power slides in. You hit him with the first one. He power slides into the second one. You hit him with the next one. Power slides into the third, and oh baby, a triple.
It'll end up on Charlie's favorite YouTube, WTF moments.
Oh my goodness.
But so we're digressing. Like we're so far off the rails at this point. Mr. Chooch came in and is now taken over.
Yeah.
But
wait, why is it that when we're off the rails, the train shows up?
Because someone had to come in.
It's magical.
We clearly kicked the train off the rails.
Oh, did we get to 18
So,
in that game?
We're
Did you take
going
Stuck
off
in a Loop?
the rails.
I did take Stuck in a Loop in the game, but I didn't really get a chance to use it because we
Mhm.
started losing after that. Because
Yeah, let's not talk about that game.
Kerrigan decided to show up all of a sudden. Level 11.
Kerrigan was
here-
showing up the whole
here-
game.
Not really, if I'm honest. But level 11. Okay, I'm moving on. I'm going to just talk over you at this point. Here and there. Activate to have Chromie swap places with her Sandblast Echo. It's on a 30-second cooldown. This is absolutely idiotic. This is the dumbest talent that you're going to end up taking. This is better than Bye-Bye. This is better than Timeout, in my opinion. You drop a Sand Clone. You hearth back. You press one button, and you're back. And you throw a Sandblast if there's a team fight for whatever reason going on near your Sand Clone. You throw a Q out, and you've got your Sand Clone immediately back. This is the dumbest thing. This is not a fair talent to pick up at 13 if you get your Sand Clone in a timely fashion. Like this is Shane O'Mac coming off the top rope with the coast to coast. Okay? This is literally a coast to coast talent.
Slight digression. Jimmy, this talent sounds like a somber talent. With the recall.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That's why
no,
I said
I understand what you're saying, and I understand it. Yes.
It basically does that, but it's used to escape. And not to go back to... It's used to escape, not to go hearth and come back. It's used to get out of trouble, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, enough over derp. Yeah,
I
guess
was talking
it's like
about Chromie.
I guess it's whatever you were talking. You started talking about Overwatch characters like Sombra and Recall or whatever.
Yeah, and I said Chromie would use it as an escape, not a recall.
Then I fell asleep.
Okay.
But yeah, I suppose you're right. Like, I guess she has a teleport or something like that. But yeah, no, I guess it would be like that. But it's not a fair talent. It's definitely not a fair talent. It's absolutely ridiculous. Reaching through time's gone. 18 past and future me got baselined. Piercing Sands is now a storm talent, but it doesn't stop at 2 heroes. But it now goes through all enemy heroes. And then on top of that, we have now Stuck in a Loop. So the storm talent for Temporal Loop no longer hits everybody in the range, but it hits the first time, and if they're not dead by that point, they get recycled second time. And
that doesn't sound very good.
No, it doesn't. I thought it sounded really, really good, but then I saw it in action, and I'm like, yeah, no, this sucks. Like, you shouldn't need more than one loop in order to kill somebody off.
Yeah.
Unless you stick time trap on the ground. Like, but if that's the case, why are you that close to your loop target?
I guess maybe Varian's chasing you down and you cut him with a time trap, but that's still...
Varian's chasing you down, you're dead anyway.
You're having a bad time.
Yeah, if Varian's on you at that point, like, yeah, no, you're a dead bronze dragon. So that's Chromie in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Like, she feels a lot better at this point. She feels rewarding rather than brain dead.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely, yeah. And that's something they had mentioned in the developer notes. They wanted to have this gap between kind of good Chromie players and, like, really good Chromie players. And it looks like they've accomplished that. I still have to play Chromie, but there was one more rework, but I feel like we're running a little bit out of time, and we did want to talk a little bit about HEC, but Leoric, quick thoughts. Zex is a warrior player.
He goes cleave, cleave, boom.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like March of the Black King might actually see some picks because the life gain off of that is idiotic.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No,
Even
it's
hitting
gross.
what? Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting.
There was a video of
he
True
feels
8
so
playing
good.
him at Gamescom, and it was silly. It was very
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah. What is it? Spectral Leech feels really good at 20. Like, he has so many options at this point for being a very effective tank. He may almost be solo tank worthy. Of course, he's going to get a lot of benefit out of being paired with with another tank. But if solo tank Leoric may be a thing with how this is going.
Dahaka Leoric. Just saying.
Yeah, why not? It's a solid thing. Yeah.
So yeah, a new Lich, new mage, some cool new reworks that all seem, for the most part, pretty good, and lots of cool stuff to check out in this patch, and lots of really cool skins too. But this last weekend we had some HGC action, and Gale Force continued their dominance on the top. They're 8-1 currently, but holy smokes, who is that coming up the rankings? It's Roll20 Esports, 8-3 right now, and looking so good this split. Zach, what are your thoughts on Roll20 and what they've done specifically after the break?
They're the strongest team in NA right now. They haven't dropped a single game. Like, you can't. I really don't think you can make an argument against Roll20 being the best NA team at the moment. I believe Gale Force has dropped a game here or there at some point.
Gale Force dropped one game to Tempo.
See, that's all you needed. They're 11-1. They're not undefeated. Roll20. Roll them crits. Let's go. They look absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to take a moment that Elena here has decided to flex her Twitter muscle, and she is going to be bringing us an interview with Justin here at some point in the near future. So
Should be within a week or so.
This all happened when I was like out of town. Everyone's, hey, Elena just got us an interview with Justin, and I'm like, I can't respond properly to this. I'm busy. So,
yes, he has graciously agreed to do our next interview. Should be up within the next week or so. So I'm super excited about that.
Super excited about that.
And hopefully by that time they will be 15-0 because their next matchup this weekend is even in death.
Wait, you were serious?
Yes. That's their next. That's the upcoming schedule.
Like,
oh no, Willie wants to crap on even in death. Just don't take the bait. Let's move on.
Moving on to even in death. No,
You're not a host.
Mathematically,
The host
I think
doesn't continually steer the ship into the iceberg.
I think mathematically they are in the Crucible, though, and I think that's something to discuss.
They changed their name. Did you hear that?
What?
They did change their name. They changed it to Asterix?
Willie.
Another name change?
No.
No, I'm saying it sure.
Just.
I'm still keeping it
Okay, for those not in the know, the name changes have been No Tomorrow is now Space Station Gaming, and Naventic is now Lag F.
Okay.
Can we just
Lag Force officially.
Yeah, Lag Force officially.
It's for Lag F.
For Naventic at this point, because that's really where they're going. Like, if they're not in the Crucible, like,
Lag
I
Force is in 6th. They're not in the Crucible right now if the season ended today.
Superstars falling this past weekend actually put them in the range for it.
Lag Force is on a 2-game series win streak, and Superstars is on a 2-series losing streak.
Well, I mean, Lag F just lost their last 2 games, but week 6, the first week after it, they did win against Space Station, which was really big because they're like fourth, fifth team,
Mm-hmm.
and even in death, which I mean they're lower than them, but they have to do that. So.
However, the next 2 matches for them are Tempo Storm and Gale Force.
For who? For which one?
For Lag Force. Those are their next 2 matches.
You don't need
That's
Lag Force
rough.
to win out. Lag Force needs to probably beat Superstars.
Mm-hmm.
And
Superstars plays Freedom this week and Tempo Storm.
Okay, so they're about going to end up in the same spot, basically.
Yeah, so they're both going to go 0-2.
So that'll be a close one. Between them,
so Superstars is currently sitting on the edge of the Crucible right now.
They're in the Crucible right now, technically.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Hashtag Faye wasn't the problem.
Oh, jeez. But talking more about the middle of the crowd here, Team Freedom has leapfrogged Tempo Storm, and now Tempo Storm is in 4th again. Kind of the same problem they had at the beginning of the season. I feel like a little bit struggling here. Gale Force really took care of business against them, giving them a 3-1 victory. But they do have Lag Force and Superstars to play up this upcoming weekend, and they, for all intents and purposes, they should win those series, no problem.
It was interesting because remember last phase, Team Freedom ended up at the top of the rankings for all the way up until like the second last week.
Well,
I think
you forgot they remembered they were Team Freedom.
But that's what I mean. Like Tempo Storm is in 4th, just like they were last time, and these next few matches for their standings aren't as difficult for them as the end ones were last time. So it's a weird balance to me where it'll just springboard someone up into going to the clashes and going to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you mostly just have to look at, like, okay, they won this week, but who'd they beat?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, Lag Force beating Space Station is a really big deal. Roll 20 beating Tempo is a big deal. Gale Force beating Even Death is not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you pay attention to the games that are about people near them, you get a better idea of where they're going to end up, which is why that Superstars Lag Force game was so important.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, my big game is Sunday the 17th when Gale Force plays Roll 20. That's going to be the game I'm like staying home and watching.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty much, in my opinion, the first place decider. Like, because that's the hardest game Roll 20 has on their schedule. They have Even in Death, Gale Force, and I think Lag Force at the end, or somebody that's not that's really beneath who's Lag Force, or I'm sorry, Roll 20 is playing.
I do wonder if like by the time we get to that, will Kel'Thuzad be live in this? Or is it too soon for that?
Steve tweeted about that. Let me try and find this.
Because that's the 17th is about 2 weeks from now. But I don't know exactly how that plays out in HGC because it's right before playoffs or not. I'm not sure.
Week 8, Garrosh balance patch. Week 9, Kel'Thuzad patch with KT disabled. Week 10, Kel'Thuzad patch KT enabled. So this game is on week 9.
Okay.
Which means it'll be this balance patch, but no Kel'Thuzad.
Got it.
So they're going to be going into BlizzCon on what patch? Like, there's... I can't.
That's a good question.
There's spoilers out there. So is it going to be,
the next patch?
That certain hero down the the 2-3 heroes down the line?
Could be.
At most, will be one more hero deep, and then they'll reveal 2 at BlizzCon, I believe.
That could be interesting because you're saying that matchup will have these new changes with Leoric and Jaina. Those changes will be live for this match.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, but Kel'Thus will not be able to be selected, or Kel'Thuzad rather. I can't even get just calling.
Oh, you failed the test.
Let alone figuring out which KT is which. I just got to get their names correct first.
There's a full month between the last week of regular season and HGC finals.
That's
So
neat.
Yeah,
probably
that
the
sounds about
next
right.
hero released will be like live and playable for BlizzCon, unless they don't want to do that for the big tournament. But it will be
Yeah.
at least on that Heroes Mountains patch.
I was saying we will probably only see one more hero before BlizzCon, and then they'll probably reveal a few at BlizzCon.
Yeah, we didn't have too much last year as far as compared to the previous one.
Oh, I know. Only Varian, the multi-class hero, and Ragnaros, the guy who takes over the forts and keeps. But no, you're right though, because the
They did
previous
show
year we had
Lunara and
yeah.
Greymane the previous year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And didn't they do like 5 heroes one year when they released Lost Vikings and like 2 others?
Possibly the prior
It was
year,
a lot, yeah.
See, Carl smiled.
It was
I
still
think he
in
got
beta.
that. Carl smiled at that. I think he got that joke.
Yes,
Oh.
I get it.
understood
I
it,
get
really.
it. I get it.
Thank you.
Okay, really quickly before we wrap up our show and wrap up our HGC discussion, I want to talk a little bit about Garrosh and taking a look at the stats, especially in North America. He has a 42% popularity rate, so a couple bans in there, but a lot of picks in a 64% win rate. So he is already having an impact on the meta in such a short amount of time. His most popular maps being Tomb and Battlefield of Eternity. What do we think this means for kind of the future of heroes? Having a disruptive warrior like this, especially at such a high level.
It means you're going to ban him or you're going to lose her heroes early on if you try any kind of push shenanigans.
So you give up Genji?
I was actually thinking we would do this as a topic next week for that hero. I forget what we ended up calling this segment, where when a new hero comes out, we kind of talk about the previous released hero and the effect they've had on the meta.
That's right. You did talk about that.
Well,
Okay.
what were we gonna call? I can't remember what we were gonna call that, but I think there's a really deep discussion here, and if we just we're not doing it much justice if we just tack it on to the end of the show for a 2-minute commentary.
No, you're right. You're right.
We have noticed in HGC, Garrosh is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the EU side, the only really close match I saw of was the Dignitas Expert match. It was
That was a good
3-2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty standard on that one. Although Liquid has fallen to 6th place.
Liquid
Yeah,
versus-
Team Liquid.
Expert
Hashtag
kind
Chris.
of took over Liquid, like, as far
Hash-
as
Zach,
Go ahead.
No.
No. I want Charlie to finish.
I don't even know what I was saying anymore.
Something taking over.
Your hashtag better be good.
Chris wasn't the problem.
Dang it. Oh, always. Anyways, 3 through 5 in EU is interesting just because everyone is 5 and 5 there. So we definitely have, I feel like we talked about this last season, just way more parity between the teams than NA has. And we kind of saw that with the Crucible last year with 2 teams making it into HGC EU and 0 teams technically making it in. Or winning their way in, I should say.
I almost wish that the HGC would become big enough that we could find a way to get the top 3 teams into the final tournaments, because I don't know. I think it would offer more disparity in the wins, more surprises, more upsets, and I just think it would be more fun.
The thing I would really like to see is Hero League get incorporated somehow, or a Team League incorporated somehow.
Oh,
Because really, you're not playing Team League for anything but amount at this point. Like, I would wish... It's a stupid idea, but it's the best one I have right now. So instead of the bottom 2 teams, the bottom 3 teams, okay? They're all Crucible matches. But the team that has the best record in Team League, or however high they go, Like the 5 most consistent players on Team League that have the highest record should get a crack at one of those 6 teams. They would have last pick, in my opinion. Like the 2 HGC Open teams would get their picks, and then that Heroes of the Storm Team League team would take the last one. And it would give people a real legitimate reason to play Team League. You know, this isn't just, you know, hey, let's gather 5 friends and maybe we can get some cool mounts as we spam Ariel Cho'Gall all day. You know, it would be, I have a chance to win, you know, get into this league and actually earn a living playing this game.
I think the best way to do that is to give the top Team League team a seed into the Open playoffs.
That's a better idea in my opinion.
So they don't get like automatically you're in the Crucible fighting for an HEC spot, but you have the chance to prove yourself in a tournament against other Open teams.
Yeah, like that. I like that idea a lot better. I wish Team League had more meaning than what it currently has. Like, and it makes me sad that Blizzard's kind of underutilizing that potential resource right there. You know, it would make for an exciting story to write about. You know, it would make for great viewing, in my opinion, especially if that HGC team or that Team League team ended up winning.
Yeah.
You know, it would be like the Cinderella story, essentially, like George Mason going to the Final Four or something like that. You know, like it would be a compelling story to read about.
There's that sports ball reference.
I had to make a sports ball reference. I like my sports ball references. But yeah, that's my idea.
No, I think it's a good idea. But to close things out, how's everyone's week going to be? What are you up to this week? Let's start with Balrog.
I'm going to likely be playing Heroes tomorrow and casting on Thursday, and then Windjammers on the weekend.
You gonna get signed by Tempo Storm?
No.
For Windjammers?
Yeah.
Why would I get... Do they have a Windjammer team?
They might soon. Who knows?
I don't understand this line of logic every time I start playing a new game. I've never once said I have interest in joining Tempo Storm. I've never claimed to be a pro player in anything I've ever done.
This is the most important question of joining Tempo Storm. Have you ever stolen someone's Funyuns?
I don't understand it, but...
Okay, a little bit. Okay, a little bit of Heroes history. The first collapse of Tempo Storm was apparently
when Dreadnought was on the
team. When
team.
Dreadnought was captain on the team in Zuna.
Oh, I remember this.
Apparently the catalyst for the team kind of just falling apart was someone stole someone else's Funyuns, I think.
Someone ate Zuna's Funyuns, and they wouldn't own up to it.
To be fair,
And they had like team meetings, like, guys, just come forward and say you ate the stupid Funyuns.
To be fair,
nobody would do it.
Funyuns are worth breaking a team up over. If like any of you ate
No.
my Funyuns, I would be off the show. Like, I would take you all down in a raging ball of flame,
I think
Zuna style.
I mean, I think we all know he ate the Funyuns himself, so we could finally bring Kenma back into the fold.
And that was the year I worked at BlizzCon, and I was able to hang out in the practice area the week before, and I just could tell something was wrong with Tempo Storm because none of them were like playing as a 5-sack together. They were just practicing derping around on Hero League or something like that. I was like, that's not how you prepare for BlizzCon, but okay.
Yeah, well, the team had a lot of issues, and they had at least one player who wanted to leave like 2 months before BlizzCon, but they were locked in.
Because the Blizzard rules.
Yeah, because it happened with those tournaments, right? So they qualified like 4 months before BlizzCon, and they had to keep that roster, or they wouldn't go to BlizzCon. One guy was like, "I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like this team environment," and he was stuck. The whole team got pretty just unmotivated and not enjoyed being with each other, and they couldn't escape.
Mm-hmm. But with that, Zach, what are you up to this week? Obviously, casting Thursday.
I'm trying to teach Charlie how to play Windjammers. He's not being a very good student at the moment. He can't handle the British.
I'm not responding, so the show will end.
Physical art. How about you? What are you doing this week?
I got one more thing. You guys know why the picture went to jail?
No, why?
Because he was framed.
Oh, this has been the final episode of the Heroes Power, friends. Thank you for so much support over the years. No, but really, physical art. What are you up to this week in gaming stuff?
I'm probably gonna slowly check out these placements in both my games and probably move on to year 3 in Stardew Valley because I'm like apparently a professional at that now. And hopefully get this interview with Justin. That is
There we go.
my week plan.
P Flame G, how about you?
So it is 6 days from now that Willie and I are going to try and cast the EU Open.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that'll be my second casting debut. And I will be much more awake and hopefully not have a headache. And it'll be much better.
Nice.
I didn't know you had a headache. I'm sorry. You could have said no, and I would have just been like, "Oh, sorry, Golden Mishas, can't really do it."
I was like, I kind of have a headache and I'm tired, but I'll do it. And I started casting, and it just got worse. I was like, I'm not gonna just cut out halfway through this.
Well,
set,
that's why
so.
you're such a cranky Gus. Like, oh, that team really screwed up that team fight. Oh, Jesus, Carl, let's bring it in just a little bit. No,
I might be a more jovial caster on Monday.
Yeah, there you go. But as far as myself, just follow me on Twitter at DJ Tyrant and Twitch to kind of see what I'm up to the rest of this week. I don't know. Am I casting this Thursday? I don't even know if I am or not.
You might be. I'll have to double check.
Okay.
Think
I
we
might
tonight.
I might
or
be.
that night.
Anyways, check out patreon.com/heroespowerhour. It helps out the show so much, and we appreciate your support. Review us on iTunes and Google Play. 5-star reviews absolutely help out the show, as well as check out blizzpro.com for all the latest Blizzard gaming news and to see all the latest episodes there. And you can subscribe to youtube.com/blizzpro for all the video archives of the Heroes Power. And with that, this has been episode 116 of the Heroes Power, and we will see you soon in the Nexus, and stay tight.